I've had some appalling, difficult situations, such as a member of the band being killed on the day of a show, as happened to the Fisherman's Friends, along with a colleague. And the gig obviously got cancelled. I mean, so yes, anything can go wrong, from somebody being ill to stuff breaking down to stuff not getting across borders, people not getting across borders. All sorts of things can go wrong. But you, as the organizer, the producer, as you rightly call it, try and make sure that nothing is going to go wrong. And hopefully, if something does go wrong, you're insured sensibly for it. But it's not always the current situation is just an extreme that nobody has ever expected. But it isn't just affecting the music industry, it's affecting everybody. So, but yeah, things can go wrong with the music industry.
At the current situation, the so-called lockdown means that you have more time to spend on drinking your tea. But I wonder what it means to you, to this. I mean, practically, are you planning now on the tours that you'd hoped had taken place this year to take place next year, or are you planning for the future?
Well, we're all planning I keep saying we're planning for an unknown future, because it's completely unknown what's going on, and we're all guessing, and different messages are coming out. So, for example, as we were discussing before we went on air, Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, who owns about 20 major theatres around the country, including the Palace Theatre, for example, in Manchester, Ambassador Theatre Group, he was saying, we'll all be back to business in June. Well, it's patently obvious that's not going to happen now. Although, to be fair, probably in the middle of March, there was a chance it could. And I think you have to be realistic. And I think the issues are ones we've never had to face before, which are you literally could go and buy a ticket for a concert and catch an illness that can kill you. And it's just like, well, when are people going to feel safe to go out and do that? So our industry is being hit very hard by the very nature of how people go to events, go and sit in a theatre. I mean, people are talking about having 2 seats next to each other in a gap of 2, but there's always going to be somebody on the row 2 rows behind you. And, it's how will people go in theatres? When will people go in theatres? Now, I'm working on three tours with these quite similar artists, all American, 2 of them with virtually the same 3 names, Beth Nielsen Chapman and Mary Chapin Carpenter. And Mary Chapin is in January next year. And Beth is in March next year. And then I've just had to rearrange a tour with another lady, very similar, Gretchen Peters, Americana, again, very good, from May this year, that was due to be taking place this May, into February and March. No, sorry, the mid-Feb next year. All in the same cities, all in the same venues, including Liverpool Philharmonic. And to be honest, I'm rescheduling 1 tour, newly scheduling 2 tours, and I'm seriously thinking January next year, is there going to be enough time between the end of lockdown for enough people to buy tickets to warrant Mary Chapin Carpenter coming to the country? And here's the other thing. One of the main reasons she's coming is to headline the Glasgow Celtic Connections Festival, which is a major event in Scotland in late January. And if that gets cancelled or doesn't feel it's got enough time to sell tickets, am I then going to set up a tour around her date at that and then have to cancel it because she's not coming to the Celtic Connections, but we could do the shows? But then again, would anybody buy tickets? So I don't know. So the answer to that is, Richard, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Just bear with me. Yes. You're fine. Yes. So and none of us know what's going on because nobody else knows how to predict it. So you're talking about 3 major things. You're talking about people's ability to pay for something, people's ability to feel safe in going to where they're going, and people being able to go to something that's actually happening that they know will happen, if you get me. I mean, there's nothing to say that one of these artists couldn't contract coronavirus the day before the show, I mean, there's all this. It's madness, but it's the same for everybody and everything. But certainly the live entertainment, be it live theatre, music theatre, or gigs of any kind, be they in the Academy or the Philharmonic, nobody knows what's going. And the message the other day from the chief medic guy was that we have to realise that social distancing is going to go until December. Well,
Yes.
how do you plan for after that?
Yeah.
So it's completely unknown, and it could spell the end of an awful lot of venues, not just ones that are perhaps at the bottom level, i.e. pub rock venues, sort of places, but also some of the bigger theatres could not survive this. And because I don't know, if people aren't buying tickets, they ain't going to sell drinks, they ain't going to, who knows? It's very difficult. But I suspect Andrew Lloyd Webber, with his Ambassadors Theatre Group, is probably very nervous.
Yes, indeed. Now, students are listening to you, and now they'll be listening in 3 days' time to this. So not now exactly, but now in effect. And I wonder what sort of person you would employ, you would expect to be like at graduate level.
Well, the quip at the moment would be somebody with a very good crystal ball. But you've got to be able to cope with something like this, and I have to say it is very hard to cope with because it's unknown. But you've got to be really quite dedicated. My assistant at the moment, she was at uni and she came along on a work experience, and she's been working with me for 3 years. My 2 co-directors both came on work experience from uni, and they're now my co-directors. One of them, I think, 17 years ago, the other one about 10 years ago from Leeds Met Uni. You've got to be really focused. You've got to understand things. You've got to have a lot of pre-knowledge on how events take place, whether they're big free outdoor events like we do, the Manchester Food and Drink Festival every year in one of the big squares in Manchester. About 100,000 people come and we make good money. I mean, that might not be happening this year. It's in September. You've got to know how to run a budget like that and make money, make sure a free event comes out on top. You've got to be people, you've got to have a good brain for numbers and figures. You've got to have a damn good memory, and you've got to really just have your finger on the pulse all the time. Politeness, sense of humour. The thing that I always look for, and everybody who's ever worked for me who's been successful, is able to take a job by the hand, or take a problem by the hand, or not a problem, just take the initiative themselves and just see how you get from A to Z and what all points in between are, and make sure they're all correct. And that's what I always say to people. I don't know the answers to anything, to everything. But what I do know is that there is an answer there. I might not have time to think more than sort of pointing somebody in the right direction. Somebody's going to be successful working for me is going to have the initiative to sort it out, whether it's putting a new show in, whether it's rearranging a show, whether it's talking to a venue, whether it's talking to a marketing thing. It's like, I like to hear people doing their own thing. You can't expect people who've just started work to get everything right, but I like to hear people's ideas and initiative, and if necessary, them take it themselves and sort things out. And that's what I always look for. But God's sake, you've got to have a sense of humour.
Well, Phil, thank you very much indeed. That's been very instructive, and wish you all the luck for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, whenever we get back to normal.
I'll be past my retirement age then, Richard, but the other problem is that all us old fogies, I hope you have as well, have paid into a pension scheme that apparently is now worth nothing. So there's a further thing to
thanks. What a note to end on. Thank you so much.